Known for its old world charm, Fort Kochi is a charming seaside town in God's own country, Kerala, that happens to be the oldest European settlement in India. After spending 5 relaxed and adventure filled days in Coorg, I decided to explore a city called the Gateway of Kerala and Queen of Arabian Sea, Cochin. If you plan to go to Alleppey, Thekadi or Munnar, your journey starting point will also be Kochi, and if you want to go to Lakshadweep, then also your journey will begin at Kochi. Fort Kochi is a cultural vessel shaped by many historical influences, and its streets exude that old world charm. Portuguese, Dutch and British influences are evident in the Indo-European architecture of the buildings dotting this town. At Kochi, you see a hodgepodge of cultures and traditions coexisting with ease, whether it is the Jews, Konkanis, Gujaratis or Marwadis. And the best way to experience all this is by staying in the heart of the city. So I booked myself at Fort Kochi, a boutique hotel in the heart of the old town from where most attractions are within walking distance.
It's an old building, yes, it is an old heritage building which was built by Dutch people, and later on it was taken over by a Jewish person called Samuel Koder.
Okay.
So he was running a departmental store on the ground floor where you see the restaurant, reception, and just next to that we have few rooms. So all together it was a big shop in those colonial era. And later when they all went back to Israel, so this was sold, and then some other people have taken over and converted as a hotel.
The first day in Kochi was spent chilling at the hotel, trying out the town's famous coastal and continental cuisine.
This is basically the Tattagada, we call it Tattagada. Tattagada is a tea shop, you could see these small tea shops in the streets and everywhere where we serve the traditional tea, coffee, snacks of Kerala style thing. So basically in the old time, this was a gathering, people's gathering area where, people will come sit together, where the time where there was no telephone, there was no social media. So that was an area where, people used to communicate. Yes, social networking. Yes, absolutely. So we just recreating it here with the old concept. We are in the restaurant area. This is our main restaurant called Jetty Restaurant, and our specialty is the seafood and Conti. Yes.
Okay, so continental and
Kerala seafood, yes. Being near to the sea, we serve a lot of seafood items. Fresh, yes.
Good morning guys, it's a sunny, bright new day in Kochi today, and I have with me Vijesh, and Vijesh is going to show us the town today. So first of all, good morning Vijesh.
Good morning Archana, thank you so much, today we are going to explore the old part of the town. Okay. So the Cochin is kind of a vibrant city, and some nice small streets where we can explore it.
Great, so I can't wait, let's go.
Yeah, we can start.
Yes.
Yeah. So this hotel is quite old. Most of the construction in Kochi is about to say 500 years old.
500 years.
Yeah. History of Kochi starts nearly 2000 years ago, where the Jewish culture begins from when the time of Saint Thomas. So when the destruction happened in Jerusalem, people started scattered all over the world, and the Jewish people arrived first, and followed by the Saint Thomas and people from Syria. So nearly we call it like, we have a Syrian culture.
Okay.
The Saint Thomas Christian, Syrian Christian. And this part of India, this part of Kerala, North Kerala we call the Malabar and Kochi and Travancore. So basically it has been divided like the three main regions. Minimum of 100 years, 200 years old, all these trees here.
Wow.
This is actually locally we call the rain tree. Rain tree is a local name, but it's from South America.
Oh, this is from South America.
Yeah, the foreigners, the Portuguese, they brought from South America. Nearly 400 to 500 years old, which is introduced by the Chinese when the time of the Kublai Khan, when 13th century, there are a lot of Chinese travelers, they travel around India and they came here, they see the tide of the water. So the technique is, they don't need to go for the fish, but whereas the fish will come to them. You know how? The tide bring the fish. Now it is low tide, you can see the water is going to the sea. Okay, after 4 hours, water will come from the sea to the backwater. So the high tide and the low tide, the fish will move on the side. So they catch it. So this is the tidal fishing.
As you come out of the Chinese fishing net, you see the area filled with different kinds of stalls selling souvenirs, fast food, local drinks, and fresh catch from the backwaters. In the morning, you can even see the fish being auctioned.
You can see behind me this wall, we call the fort wall. This is built by the Dutch period. It's about in 18th century. The Dutch period, they built this fort. We call the Fort Kochi. We got two forts in Fort Kochi. The Portuguese, they built the first fort in the 15th century, and the Dutch followed the Portuguese and they had a battle in between them. So all the way they came from Europe and they fight each other for the spices. So this is how Cochin was called the battleground of the European. There are many other nicknames of Kochi. We call it like the Little Lisbon, Homely Holland, Mini England. So there are many names because all the Europeans came here, they settled more than 100 years. So they feel their home. So we welcomed all the people from all over the country. So Cochin is very harmonious place and very welcoming. So now we are in front of the beautiful church. You can see an amazing gable. So this is one of the first European church in India. It's built by Portuguese in 1503. And the church has been remodeled. They reconstructed in 1779 by the Dutch period. And the importance of this church, this is the one place where the Vasco da Gama, the great explorer, who died and buried inside the church. So we are just backside of the Vasco da Gama church. So this house belongs to Vasco da Gama.
Vasco da Gama.
Yes.
Okay.
He lived here, this house. The entire street is about 500 years old.
500 years old.
Yes.
Wow. Vasco da Gama lived there.
Yes, this house.
And he's buried there.
Yeah, he was buried inside the church. So this is called the Santa Cruz Basilica. This church built by the British.
Okay.
So in general, they don't build a Catholic church, but this one they built for the public because they already took the other church for their own purpose. So this is 1902. You can see that anno 1902. In 1984, this church was proclaimed as a basilica by the John Paul, the Pope.
After 10-minute auto ride from the old town, we reached Jew town. Sandwiched between Matancherry Palace and synagogue. If you are a shopaholic and antique lover, this is the place to be. At the corner of the Jew town lay the 14th century Jewish synagogue, the oldest in the Commonwealth region.
So this is called the Dutch Palace.
Okay.
This is built by Portuguese, but call it Dutch Palace.
Oh, that's interesting. Built by the Portuguese but called Dutch Palace. And why is that so?
Well, actually the Portuguese occupied all the places here, and there was a battle happened between the Dutch and the Portuguese. And the Dutch took over all the places in Cochin. And they maintained and they redesigned according to the Dutch architecture.
Okay.
But this is very typical Kerala. You can see the architecture on the top. It's called the pagoda.
Pagoda.
Yeah, it's an Indian and the European architecture. We call it like the quadrangle shape with the center courtyard inside. So this is built in 1555, correct, and rebuilt in 1663 by the Dutch.
So almost 100 years, 110 years.
Yeah, there's a difference years between 100 years. It's much older than Taj Mahal.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's one of the wonders.
Very well maintained.
So what we are going to see inside is nice mural paintings of the mural art of Ramayana and some portraits of the king, those who ruled here.
After a whole day spent walking around Fort Kochi, exploring its heritage, the best way to unwind is by attending a local performance at the end of the day. So I headed to the Kerala Kathakali Center, located near the Santa Cruz Cathedral Basilica, to explore the cultural aspect of life in Fort Kochi. This place is a traditional art center showcasing Kathakali dance performances, Kalaripattu, and other forms of classical dance and music. I reached half an hour early to see how the elaborate makeup was done. We ended the day with a traditional Malabari coastal cuisine dinner. I hope you liked this video. Please don't forget to like, comment and share it with your friends and family. And don't forget to subscribe to the Travel See Right channel. In the next episode, I will take you to a destination that is famous for its backwater. Until then, keep watching Travel See Right channel.